Hey all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly value, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey there my Crimsonites, and welcome to Crimson Cure channel. I'm your hostess, femininity coach and author of the Crimson Cure, and this is my perspective. So we got Miss Keita Rose. Keita, if you recognize her, she's usually on that Tonight's Conversation podcast. She's a regular there, seems. And Keita be on something. Every once in a while, she say a little something that makes sense to me. Most of the time, I feel like a lot of her commentary is disingenuous. And so she... Just watch. Just watch.
Father God, it's me again. The men that you created to love us, the men that you created for us to be companions with, companionship, don't like us, Lord. Did you know that? Did you know that that was going to happen? I seen a podcast and this man said, my wife had 3, 4, 5 times she could have filed for divorce. She should have left me. I would have left me. But she didn't because she had a fight in her. Neo had both his sides on a boat. Talking about, yeah, I cheated on my wife and she has every reason to hate me and it's tearing me apart. Nigga, you don't care. You don't care at all. We are well past. Why do men cheat? Why do men lie? The same reason we go to Target knowing we don't need anything. It's fun. Just guys. But why must you humiliate her by telling everybody these are making songs? When a man sees that you'll stay, they don't look at it as, man, she's giving me a second chance, so I better tighten up and never hurt her again. It's more so like, damn, she's really strong, but let's check the hoe's endurance, okay? Buckle up. More and more women are choosing to be single, and it's like, do you really want to be alone? And it's like, well, I don't want to get on Instagram and see a Valentine's Day post. It's like, man, Marissa, you are dumb as hell. Dumb, but in love with me, thank you. I mean, I cheat, and I cheat, and I cheat, and I lie, and I lie, and I lie, and you sit there and you take it. Imagine if we did that. Imagine if for Father's Day, we were like, Thomas, you're an amazing father. We both know that baby wasn't yours. I so many men giving them neck, throwing neck around town, but you stay strong. And you raise all of them with your dumb ass. And that's why I choose you to cheat on. Happy Father's Day. Please, let's bow our heads. Father God.
So the premise of the video is basically she's sharing the sentiment that the gauge of being a good woman in the eyes of men, and she's trying to speak from her perception of how men are looking at it, that the gauge of whether or not a woman is good or whether or not she deserves a relationship depends upon how much of his crap she takes. So if she takes all of his mistreatment or what have you, and she endures through it until such time as he decides he wants to stop, then that is when he's going to recognize her and be like, man, I really love you because you took all of my crap. And so that makes you a good woman. She's also saying that this is a demonstration of the disdain that men actually have for women. And I've said this before, but I find it ironic that women of today will ridicule the women of yesteryear for staying in relationships that they don't think served those women. And the narrative is that the women of old only stayed in these abusive and or toxic relationships where the men cheated and did all these sorts of things to them only because they had to do it and they didn't have any other way to provide for themselves. So therefore, they couldn't have left the relationship even if they wanted to, which I find to be ridiculous on a lot of different levels, because a lot of those women of yesteryear were working and were making the strides. However you want to look at the outcome of those strides, they were making the strides in being educated and getting jobs because they were the pioneers afford that for the women of today to be able to do it. But I digress. I'm saying that to say a lot of the women of yesterday were working and making their own money. They may not have been the breadwinners, but they were working because basically you had to. You had to work in order for the family to be supported. But I'm saying I'm bringing up the women of yesteryear because that's the critique that modern women have of those women, that they're putting up with all of these men's crap because they had to, essentially. So my question to the modern woman is, why do you put up with it? Why are you complaining about what the men do when the women supposedly made all of these strides to be able to get up and leave a situation whenever a man acted up in a relationship? If he's not doing what you think he should be doing in a relationship, this shouldn't even be a complaint, because your foremothers actually paved the way for you to be able to go and work and make a decent amount of money, for you to be able to go and get educated and blah, 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 and pay your own bills and all of this sort of thing, specifically so that you don't have to, quote unquote, depend on a man. So that if you are in a relationship and this man is not doing, quote unquote, what y'all want him to do, whatever that may be, that y'all can just walk off because you're not in a position where you're so completely dependent upon him that you have to put up with tomfoolery in order to be taken care of. So why are y'all complaining? If y'all are able to do all of this stuff on your own, and so therefore you do not needing to rely on a man to do anything, so therefore when he act up, what you complaining about? Just take your stuff and go. He's cheating, he's lying, he's doing all this extra stuff that you claim you don't want him to do and you can't tolerate. So don't tolerate it. So don't tolerate it. Y'all are complaining about the very men that y'all be choosing to be with, because I see so many women that pine after men that tell them to their faces that they don't really want them and that they're not really taking them seriously. This is not really a relationship. This is not, I'm going to do what I want to do. So a lot of times, really the overwhelming majority of times, I'm witnessing men tell women what it really is and what they really think of them, actually being quite honest about it. And the women will go into a delusion, especially these younger women will go into a delusion about who these men are and what the nature of their so-called interaction and situationship and relationship is. And the men will have actually been honest and tell them, hey, you know, you're not going to be the only one. I'm not exclusive with you. I'm not even really in a relationship with you. We're going to kick it and da-da-da-da-da and whatever that entails. But please understand that I'm not going to not be with other women. I'm not going to be exclusive to you. That, you know what I'm saying? I'm not your man. And, you know, however they put it, they're putting it in terms that are really undeniable. And these women will go right past that. I'm not even going to call them red flags because it's just honesty. And they'll go right past it into delusion land where this man belongs to them and they're in a relationship. And then when the delusion finally wears off, now they're going to come with the song and dance about how this man was dishonest with them and how he led them on and how he lied and how he act like he was going to be in a relationship with them, blah, 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 blah. Because they get confused after the man tell them what it is, and then he keeps dealing with her. Like he'll put up with her, but he's telling you why. He's telling you that the only reason he's dealing with you is to get sex or whatever else that he getting from you. That's the only reason he deal with you. And he don't actually really like you, and he doesn't see this as a relationship. You're the one that's so busy trying to get validated by any means necessary that you will be in this sexual situationship with this guy, and you'll lie to yourself about how involved or how invested he is into you, because you want him, because you like him, because you want to be with him. And any attention that he gives you validates this point for you. Y'all need to have to start being honest about that. These men are not out here just lying and lying and lying. A lot of times these men are actually telling the truth. And because the truth doesn't jive with the version of events in your head, you'll go with the delusion. And then at some point, the delusion has to be broken. Something breaks it. And once that delusion is actually broken, that's when y'all get crazy. That's when y'all start acting a fool. That's when y'all start getting stupid. And then you want to be mad at him when really you should just be mad at yourself. Maybe in my generation when we was young, men did a little bit more, tried to kind of lie their way into getting some from you or whatever, try to play the boyfriend role to be maybe. But now that's certainly not the case, because too many of y'all are prostituting anyway. So he realizes he doesn't have to be your boyfriend. He doesn't actually have to be your boyfriend. In order for him to get out of you what he wants out of you, he does not even have to pretend to be your boyfriend. He does not even have to pretend to be in a relationship with you, because that's just what it is. So it makes it less likely for him to lie to you about it, because he doesn't need it anyway. As long as he's got the couple of dollars you looking for and he give you the amount of attention, at least initially, that you want, he's all good. And he know that. You think men haven't picked that up, haven't picked up on the fact that they ain't really got to do too much at this point? They certainly don't have to lie to get y'all. The way y'all got these little hoochie mama price lists, how much you cost list, a whole list, a literal prostitution list, because only prostitutes give you their price list. Y'all walking around here with a whole price list, perpetuating it. He ain't got to lie. He ain't got to lie to kick it. You ain't got to lie, Craig. You ain't got to lie. He ain't got to lie to kick it. He really don't. Y'all really just, that's in y'all head at this point. He ain't got a lot to kick it. All he got to do is have a couple of dollars to kick it. That's all he got, because hoes don't care about all that other stuff. They care about money for their time. Jump down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your host, Sister Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.